Итак, друзья, всем еще раз привет.
Hello everyone again. Let's proceed.
Довольно-таки
And now
интересно,
we'll hear quite an interesting speech.
как CISO
How
поработал
CISO worked as a first-line
боль
analyst.
своих процессов.
Just understood the pain of the processes, and we have Kirill Makashev, the Ozone CISO or CISO, to talk about this. Okay, hello guys. I hope you can hear me.
Во-первых, спасибо всем, кто пришел офлайн.
So I'd like to thank everybody who's come here offline. You are the bravest, the most excited. That's
Если люди пришли,
what I like about the Saturday morning speeches at PhD days. Well, if you are here, I think that you're really motivated, and I'd like to welcome those to listen to us online. Okay, I'm the Ozone CISO. We obviously have a SOC,
расскажу сегодня
and now I'll talk about the SOC and how we built it.
действительно про то, как
I will talk
однажды
about the way
намеренно
I
сотрудником первой линии СОК.
became the first-line staff member at the SOC.
Значит, ну что, мы
That's me.
в Озон в 2022 году.
Well, I came to Ozone in 2022.
Уже
At that time, Ozone
СОК и
had established a SOC, and it looked like that.
был
We had
3 джуна и 2 стажера.
we had a boss, and at that time,
За эти 3 года сильно
well, we had one senior, 3 middle guys, 3 juniors, and 2 interns. So we have grown quite a lot in terms of the
развивать. Стало понятно,
processes and so on.
СОК тоже.
We understood that we need to develop the structure. The SOC should also develop and grow. So we started building the structure and processes.
К 2025 году получилось,
By 2025,
мы их называем 3 линии, да, там
we developed these 3 lines. There are different names for them, but
у нас есть
we have adopted this type of learning. We have the first line dealing with alerts and requests. We have line 2, the analysts, those who
пишут алерты,
code rules, correlations, develop alerts, and can quickly find logs in their CM.
ребята, которые занимаются,
So these guys
скажем, не на фронтлайне, но
are
занимаются
not
процессом.
at the front line, but they still deal with alerting and monitoring. And the third line would be engineers. So these guys kind of handle the CM itself. You can see a big crowd of cool guys who support kind of the digestion of all these terabytes of data going to our CMs. Splunk. Oh, did I say Splunk? Okay, CM.
Я так готовился к этому вопросу.
I've been ready, for this question. Okay.
Первую линию мы создали в 2023
We
году.
established the first line in 2023.
Ну, потому что стало понятно,
Why?
что есть
Well, because it got kind of clear that we have a mess in terms of processing requests,
чтобы
and we want
только
the guys to be focused on dealing with requests, those who would look at the graphs, alerts, and
такие какие-то рутинные
positives, and run some routine work, so that the engineers,
инфрасеки, датасеки, обсеки
infosec, datasecs, and opsec should be doing their things
меньше там.
and pay less attention to dealing with alerts.
Первую линию
So we launched the first line,
и эти процессы.
and we delegated to it the processes mentioned.
В 2024 году мы поняли,
In 2024, we understood that the alerts might come not only
нужна первая линия.
within the business hours, so we decided to have a
Ну, кроме того, что алерт,
first line 24/7. Okay, alerts and requests, they come outside of business hours, and at night people
сделать днем,
may do some things they didn't have time for during the day, so we launched the 24/7 option. That's how we kind of came to this.
в этом году
So,
первичную обработку обращений, алертов.
Primary
То есть
work with alerts
алерты изначально попадают
was dealt with by the first line starting with 2024. So, okay, not all of them, but most of these alerts. So we have some important alerts. They go to incident investigation. Some alerts might go somewhere else, but well, most of these alerts are now dealt with by line 1. So 2024 for us was the year when we understood that we wanted to measure whether it's all effective and useful, are we going the right way, and do the changes in the processes really improve them. So we started thinking about metrics. Okay, I told my reports, heads of departments, well, I asked them to do something with metrics. So we should start measuring things and to get some kind of output from it. The first line, well, became the front runners and enthusiasts, and those who were the first to do it. And that's why the most mature metrics we have today are first-line metrics. The guys are investing colossal resources into this, the way I say it. So we started looking at this first-line metrics for every kind of for every kind of ruler, as we call it. So there we have some alerts. So we have overall number of requests, talking kind of giving us the picture of the overall condition in terms of InfoSec, and there we saw some correlations. Okay, we saw some phishing emails, more requests, but then next week something different happened, and so on. So we started this kind of reflection exercise based on metrics, and it turned out to be quite useful. Today, in 2025, we kind of brought together the InfoSec metrics. We have the same kind of ruler to measure them, and the first line as the front runners, they are consolidating the process of calculating all this, and they really help us. And in 2025, we introduced the internship program. Okay, what are the advantages of the first line of SOC? Well, line 1. So this guys follow playbooks. Well, they should be written in the first place. But we have them. Okay, if you have this alert, you do it this way. You enrich it, you get the logs, you block the account, and you transfer all this here or there. On the other hand, just like other InfoSec guys, we are quite concerned with the HR market in the field of InfoSec. One of the solutions would be to develop your kind of HR potential in-house. So you should hire those having no experience and convert them into experienced guys. So these unexperienced guys are interns. So they are students, they are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So we invite them, we teach them. So the first line is a matching platform. On one hand, we have playbooks. On the other hand, we have kind of those to teach, those who need instructions. So here you are. So you have the internship program for line 1, and it really works great. I will share some specifics later. Then these guys grow, they can be rotated inside the team, and they can go to OPSEC, those who want to investigate incidents, they can further progress there. So here we have interns, students who come to us. They are so cool. Well, and our first line is so cool, and we are the coolest. Why so? Okay, 75% of the guys we hire are our trainees or interns, and our 4 interns are middle middle-level guys. 4 of them have become leads, so they are bosses. More than half of them are now staff employees or FTEs. 4 out of 6 rotations outside of SOC. So we have 4 guys who went outside of the SOC, InfoSec, OPSEC, and so on. And now we have 13 interns. I'd like to use this opportunity to say hello to Line 1 and all the interns. I hope they are watching us. Okay, we'll make them watch the video anyway. Okay, the first line is there. Sometimes alerts come, sometimes they don't. Sometimes these guys just have nothing to do. Okay, so we need to give them something to do. So we decided that some baseline routine processes should be performed by line 1, such as some trash of bug bounty, just to understand, is it in Russian or is it in plain language or not? Is it a bug, can it be reproduced, or maybe it's not a bug? Another process, like approving internet access. Well, you might think that the InfoSec understanding or education for a student for line 1, it's clear to understand whether an accountant needs the internet if she wants to listen to Yandex Music or not. So maybe for this you don't need to distract those dealing with projects. So you have guys who can quickly and competently, with good quality, take care of these processes. So we came up with a process. We developed a flow to bring the processes to line 1. And this is the gate where the first line managers, the guys do not can take on board some InfoSec processes from other departments. So they say, okay, we have a backlog, so please queue. So in terms of bug bounties, so what do? So OPSECs come and train them. They tell them, okay, you deal with bug bounties like that. So they supervise them for some time, and then it's L1 responsibility. So we look at the metrics to see whether it works fine or not. We adjust this along the way, and with time, they accumulated quite a lot of processes. Here are 2 other examples of the processes shifted to L1. Number 1, vulnerability management. We have many vulnerabilities which we highlight based on the descriptions, the ones which apply to us, but the overall baseline assessment of criticality. So is it 10 scores or 5 scores in terms of the ISS? So we understand that this is about numbers, we can automate it, and human decision making, well, we believe is the best thing to manage vulnerabilities. So we can ask, ask them, these guys, to find an exploit, and if they find it, we ask them to use some test range to play with it. Then you might read something like Twitter. Oh, is it banned? Okay, yes. So you shouldn't read Twitter then. Okay. So try to find some information about this stuff, and then following this baseline inspection, they can continue the flow, down the flow. So if it is an incident, if there are many scores, then they start responding to this. If it's a few scores, then they deal with it, and there are some automation tools around this. But the guys still keep an eye on this. Well, VPN. Some say, I need VPN access here and there. So the guys have a look at this justifications. Well, some advanced guys might say that you should use AI here. Well, but this is not the topic for today. We have a different room talking about AI now. Okay, what are the problems or tasks we have?
к 25 году написано
in 2025.
что
You can see this in the screen.
проблемы, но это такие как бы
Well, they're not exactly problems, but I would say they're growth opportunities
в целом структура выросла.
or some kind of attention highlights. So the infrastructure has grown. We gave them some processes and playbooks, and we kind of supervised the process for some time, but then we stopped
И эти процессы нужно
doing this. But these processes should be streamlined, and overall the InfoSec processes and the first line processes, they should be improved. Well, the structure has grown, and the kind of first line guys, they are not exactly detached, but they are kind of standalone. So they deal with requests and alerts, but we deal with projects. Well, I don't think it's a good idea.
Ну, вся команда из-за этого подрасслабилась.
The team kind of relaxed. If you are not kind of distracted by the users every day, you focus on the projects and your mindset gets changed in a way.
Чтобы
And we had this task. So the line one people, they had to be rotated outside of the SOC, and this should be somehow supported and maintained, organized, so that people can meet and for the rotation to take place.
И тут нам в голову пришла гениальная мысль.
And then a wonderful idea occurred to us.
Давайте сотрудники ИБ
Okay, the InfoSec guys outside of the SOC,
и сядут
they should go
подежурить на первой линии.
on duty for line one. So they'll remember the good old past, how 2 years ago we dealt with alerts and requests together. They would talk to line one guys.
Может быть, из этого что-то получится.
Maybe, well, something will come out of it. They will have a look at the processes they have shared.
Почему у меня так? Сейчас. Ну ладно. Так, так, так. Ну ладно, давайте по этому же слайду. Короче, да. Ну, во-первых, тонус, да, для всей команды, они расслабились.
Well, this was important to
Смотреть себе кого-то.
kind of toughen up the whole team because they got relaxed. And then they kind of would be able to find someone to rotate to their teams because the guys kind of can meet, they will revise their own playbooks, give some important advice. So we decided that this was a good idea.
Ну, вот давайте.
And I said, okay, all the bosses should go to line one.
Первая линия пошла, придумала для этого
Okay.
формат, как это все.
They developed a format for this to happen. Well, not too long, just 3 hours.
За 3 часа,
But within 3 hours,
ну, на мой взгляд, очень хороший.
we obtain a very good effect. Well, yesterday,
Здесь вещать.
I was talking what I was kind of going to do, and they told me, no, it should be a week, not 3 hours. But you know, in our experience, even 3 hours, they're
Значит, как проходит это все?
greatly useful. Okay, how do we do it?
Который стажируется, он приходит на первую линию.
Okay, the intern goes to line one, so we are all there in one room. So the guy shares the screen for everybody to see what he or she is doing, so that they don't make mistakes, because they have their own processes, and it's important to do it right. So he shares the screen. Everybody is kind of keeping an eye on the guy, so you cannot make a mistake. So now I'm kind of converting to first person. Why? Because I was the first one to join this program. I was really interested. Okay, I came there, I shared the screen, the guys are sitting around me. It was so unusual for all of them. Well, just imagine someone someone outside of the SOC comes and tries to do their job with them.
И, мне кажется, им понравилось.
Well, I think they liked it.
Было необычно.
It was quite unusual for them.
Ну, я потом покажу отзывы, да,
I can share some feedback, by the way.
интересные, которые стоит показать, но в целом отзывы...
Well, overall, the feedback was positive from both the guys and the
Человек обрабатывает
interns. Okay, so you deal with the requests for 90 minutes, you answer the questions from the business users. So like the mouse is working its way, I've lost my password, what should I do? I have an email I haven't asked for, so where should I refer it? And things like that.
сбор алертов,
And so for
кроме
90 minutes we dealt with alerts and sophisticated tickets. So we have our channel, our InfoSec tickets for some long-term project work. So line 1 deals with it. Then after all of that, we get our brief feedback. Then we provide a more detailed report on how it worked out. And then line 1 starts dealing with this feedback.
Как я готовился?
Okay, how I was getting ready.
Запросил доступ
To begin with, I asked access to all the chats. Line 1
Меня добавили в ротацию.
is added to. I was added to rotation, to the duty kind of piece, to receive all the alerts. And the most difficult thing for me was to read the playbooks we had developed throughout the history of line 1, because it turned out that we had too many of them. I kind of realized
Передали.
that really a lot of work had been transferred to line 1. They're doing a lot indeed.
Я не
Well, frankly, I didn't read the playbooks. I
Я подумал, я же знаю.
admitted it then, and I can admit it now. Well, I know this stuff. It was me who kind of drafted almost all of them, so I can sort it out.
Ну, примерно план вот такой. Значит,
Okay, then the plan. So we come to know each other. Okay, we
заведены.
change the shift. We look at the chat, the tickets.
Потом
We deal with the process. Then we have a break. We consider
значит, занимаемся
the alerts.
процессом
We deal with the tickets, and we remove vulnerabilities from software and from products.
передаю дежурству.
And then I kind of transfer the shift back to them.
План понятный, да?
Well, I think it's more or less clear. It's like a default plan. It's the way it should be.
Вот есть маленький QR-код.
Here we have a little QR code.
Это ссылка на
This is
до сих пор актуальную статью
a
на
link for a Harbor
поводу
article
того, как у нас работает процесс
on
риск-тикет.
how this risk ticket process works.
Не изменилось.
You're welcome. It's more or less the same way now as it's described there.
В целом мы пишем много статей на Хабр.
We write a lot of articles, publish them
Кстати, про это тоже.
at the Harbor, and we have an article on this stuff too, by the way.
Значит, что нам дали в качестве обратной связи?
Okay, the feedback I got when me and some other bosses,
Руководители
not only bosses,
ходили на такую стажировку.
took part in this kind of internship.
Был ивент-код и их значение. Надо
Okay, forgot the event codes and what they mean. Had to look for this. Yes, I had forgotten the event codes and the event ID. I had to look for this.
хорошо описано.
Not all the processes are well described.
Когда их передал,
Answer the question. And how did I transfer this if I didn't describe it well? Okay, you kind of look at your processes after half a year or year. You kind of tell them, okay, do this. You have an instruction. They did it for a year, then you come in a year, and then you say, okay, how come I put it down like that? Things have changed, and you shouldn't do it like that.
плейбуки есть, и они неплохие.
Okay, so the playbooks are there, and they're not that bad. So praising yourself. Okay, the work didn't stop during this internship,
Ребята сделали так,
meaning people did it in such a way that,
я из-за этого больше всего переживал.
and this is, by the way, was my primary concern. I thought that I kind of came and I was so stupid, I was slow, I was checked in terms of grammar and punctuation, and I had to be polite with the guys, not the way I usually do it in the chats.
В целом, короче,
Well,
я там пока, я так смотрю, у меня там пришло одно обращение.
I received one request, second request, third request. Okay, I'm dealing with the first one, with the playbook. Okay, I clarified what had happened. Then I had the first and second thing, and the second and the third ones were covered by the backup guy on duty. Okay, it turned out that I had a backup guy. Okay, great. I thought, okay, I will do this, and I have 5 more in the backlog. How come these guys do it?
Обкакаться
Okay, I kind of wasn't exactly scared shitless.
автоматизировать.
Okay, so they let me,
Ну, одни из тех,
they told me that many things might be automated. No, these guys like AI, and we told them, yeah, that's what you're going to do.
Нужно
walk the talk.
плейбуков, да, типа плейбуки
We need to criticize playbooks. Yeah, they should be
я начал понимать,
updated. Okay, at that time I understood that playbooks should be revised.
интерес.
Okay, a difficult process, it was interesting, deal with alerts, and so on.
Понятно, как
So
много.
many kind of started understanding how much line 1 does.
Не буду
Well,
скрывать, в смысле, что
I'm not going to make a secret out of it. With time,
с рутиной, которая
this routine work,
какой-то
which line 1 does,
делают там,
well,
ну что
we believe that, okay, what are they doing? Well,
ну да не делают.
we don't look down on them, but we are glad that they're doing it, not us, frankly speaking. And similarly, we start believing that, okay, you can add more and more processes to them. They can do it, maybe it's not that difficult, it's quite quick.
Приходишь
And when you
на передовую,
come to the front line,
ты приходишь в то место, где вот это все
you go there,
рандомный
where it happens, and it's a random time, right?
сценарий.
There aren't any scenarios like that. Okay, today the CISO will come to us and we'll arrange an
Там
apocalypse
как обычно. А как обычно, даже
for him. No, it's just the usual way. And within 3 hours, I got an alert on the activity of the Windows administrator in the infrastructure.
достаточно
And I got a couple of difficult requests from the users where I had to go deep into this and to understand. And that's the routine tasks of line 1. Okay, you start kind of valuing this more.
что.
Okay,
Значит, ходили у нас я, 7 тимлидов и 2 инженера.
me, 7 team leads, and 2 engineers have worked for line 1. We have revised all the playbooks we had some issues with. We streamlined the processes.
Насколько мне позволяет судить, моя
Okay.
связь, которую я получаю,
Based on the feedback I'm receiving,
стала
all of that
мотивацией для первой линии.
motivated line
Ребятам прикольно.
line 1 pretty well.
Ходят,
The guys like it that bosses from other lines come to them, sit next to them,
не знаю, нюхают порох.
kind of
Вот.
see and smell the gunpowder together.
Знаете, там
Well, the whole team kind of got a little bit reshuffled. People started understanding the processes of each other.
внутренних
We have established a good background for internal rotation.
аварно.
When a guy from awareness goes to line 1 or from InfoSec, well, these guys speak, they have some breaks, and they
Общаются друг с другом.
communicate.
Они рассказывают, они задают вопросы.
They ask questions, what do you do, and so on. Well, they ask questions like that all the time, but this is another touch point for you. And the boss
Вот этот вот
might say, okay, this guy
вопросы.
is asking the right questions.
Хорошо ориентирован.
This guy
Предметный
understands this field pretty well.
Смотреть, как
Okay, let's consider him a candidate for internal rotation.
вкладывается в целом в нашу
And this is overall in line with our strategy
найма и стажеров.
for hiring and internships.
Ну, я уже подобрался, начал рассказывать про неочевидные результаты,
Okay.
которые мы, наверное, сразу на старте этого проекта не закладывали.
So some unexpected results.
И вот первую строчку я уже рассказал. Остались только 4 рассказал, дурацкие вопросы.
Okay, we had some stupid questions.
Когда приходит человек
When
не в теме, у которого глаз не замылен,
someone comes with a fresh eye, he starts asking some,
он иногда предлагает,
unusual questions, or
и они на
comes
действительно там
up with some unusual or unconventional solutions, and this might change the processes, or he has some knowledge which might optimize the process. Like, following the playbook, you have to do this, this, and that. And he says, why should you do this and that? If you could go there, it's already prepared for you. So this is an important result, isn't it?
Что мы будем делать дальше?
Okay, what comes next?
Мы, очевидно, будем продолжать проект.
We'll continue with the project.
Все идет хорошо.
Because everything goes well, we are achieving our results. Will we expand,
На первой линии
like will we increase the time for the first line internship? Well,
мне уже задали.
we will discuss it, because now this is
Мы,
a question asked.
что
We have realized
чем занимается ИБ,
that to understand what InfoSec does is important, not only for the InfoSec guys. Well, sometimes you can invite some IT guys
думаете, мы тут
and tell them, well,
просто так ходим.
they think that we are kind of tightening the bolts for no reason. We are kind of yelling at you for no reason.
Только
They think that everything is fine and we are just coming up with ways to make your life more difficult.
много,
No, it's not the case. We have many things you
когда приходят.
cannot see or see when you come to see us. But this is actually a continuous process, and this is a routine effort of
Кого-то из
a lot of guys. So maybe we'll invite some
позовем кого-то
IT people or maybe non-IT people.
Это же
Well, because this is cool, isn't it?
команда деврелов.
Like we have the DevLevels team
И
who work with us,
интересуются, они
and
знают,
they're interested in this stuff. They
помогают писать.
go to conferences with us. They help us
Чтобы показать, наверное, нет.
to draft some articles, and so the best way to kind of come to know them is to invite them to line one with support, with backup, but still kind of see what people come to us with.
Алерты бывают.
Have a look at the alerts, how many of them we have, and how this works.
Ну и, возможно, мы поделимся этим
Maybe we'll share this experience
внутри компании.
inside the company.
Мы бы сами хотели сходить.
So we would love to go there. We have many technical support guys.
Потом базовая айтишная поддержка.
We have the IT support, we have user support, logistics, warehouse,
Поддерживаем.
and many other types of support. And we'd love to know how they do it.
Возможно,
And so maybe they have some know-how we don't know about, and maybe this will be kind of a good way to share this
типа,
experience. And we want to share this experience with the community. That's why we're here.
спасибо.
Thank you.
Я хочу... Я хочу ответить на вопросы. Если...
I'd like to answer your questions if you have any.
Да, пожалуйста. А микрофон будет для человека, задающего вопрос? Благодарю. Вот сейчас.
Do we have a mic for the question? I think we do.
Спасибо, Кирилл, за доклад.
Thank you, Kirill.
Я сам являюсь руководителем
My name is Stanislav, and I'm also in charge of the shift on duty. This is a cool method. So you see the issues with the processes and procedures, but I still have a question.
выводом, что
Based on your kind of understanding that playbooks should be kind of critiqued, that some processes are not ideally described,
твоему методу
but still kind of following your method, what would be the best way
можно ли как-нибудь ребят замотивировать, чтобы они сами приходили, давали критику и обратной связи,
to motivate the guys so that they come to us and give us the feedback, so that we don't have to immerse ourselves into this.
какие-то замечания, но все
So, so sometimes they come and they give some feedback, but when you immerse in this, you see more issues. Why? Okay, hence the answer. We have the process and playbook revision process.
Те, кто его,
It's
там,
kind of
те, кто его придумал.
maintained by those who invented it. So if you have an OPSEC process, we have the OPSEC guys and line one. So they come together regularly, they look at playbooks and revise them. But here,
Не знает
the
ничего.
guy who comes, he doesn't know kind of anything about this. So he knows,
Он не участвует в этом.
or she knows that there is a
Всегда
kind of process. So you
активный взгляд со стороны.
kind of cannot invite everyone all the time, every time. So this is a pinpoint, one at a time, kind of third-party
Которые там, ну, типа,
view.
стороны, не знаю, как.
So this is a third-party view of the process. Okay, I got it. Thank you for the question.
Так, два.
Okay, we have two more.
Кирилл, доброе утро.
Kirill, good morning. My name is Ivan. Thank you very much for your kind of chilly
Пожалуйста,
and
поподробнее,
exciting discussion. Could you please talk about the export of
как это происходит.
interns to other departments? So do the bosses of other departments come
Да, что им
there as customers? They say that they have a need. So when do they come? How can it be kind of profiled in terms of the tasks
максимально,
kind of for the intern to accumulate the experience?
если он
Well, as much as possible if they want to work there. Okay, I got it.
На самом деле, короче, какого-то прям единого процесса для этого нет.
We don't have a unified process for this, but we establish the best conditions we can. Well, indeed, sometimes we have a customer coming to the SOC and saying, well, I need a junior, so please kind of show me the guy who is most interested in this topic. Sometimes we find the guys, sometimes we don't. And so if you do, for some time he's still in the SOC, but he is given some tasks. So we call this the donor and the acceptor. So the SOC is always the donor, and we have the acceptor. So he starts running some tasks with the acceptor, and this sheer kind of growth with time, and so on and so forth. Okay, if he can do it well, then we say, okay, we greenlight the rotation. Sometimes it happens the other way around. The SOC guy comes and say, we have a line 1 guy for the internship, but we see that he is beautiful in terms of infosec. So he's a really cool guy. So have a look at him. Let's add him to some HR pool. Well, interview him to make sure whether we are right, that this guy understands this and that. Well, sometimes this happens, out of kind of good chemistry. So they meet each other, they are interested in each other. These guys need the candidate, and the guy wants to work there, and so on. And by the way, we have Seryoga here. Please wave your hand. He's our SOC boss, so you can talk to him. By the way, he also took part in establishing these processes. I think he can share some specific cases with you.
Спасибо за доклад, Кирилл.
Thank you, Kirill. Thank you. We have the same
Как и везде.
issues. I think this is more or less general. I have a few questions. What's the legal status of the intern? Well, is he a contractor for you, or is it someone who comes to you just for a couple of weeks? Well, sometimes we have year 5, year 3, or year 4 students. So this is the Ozone Tech internship program. It's one for all IT security and InfoSec. It's a half-a-year internship with some fixed salary, and this is a half-year contract. And following the internship results, we take a decision on any guy, whether we will hire the guy or, okay, that's it. Or we might add this guy to the HR pool. Maybe we don't have any positions, so we cannot rotate the guy outside of line 1. Well, things like that may also happen.
3 часа.
Okay, 3 hours. 3 hours a week, or is it a one-time thing? Yeah, one-time thing. So 3 hours are enough. Well, 3 hours for us worked. So if you spent there 2 days, I don't know, or a night shift, well, I think it's difficult for the night shift because we have this HR restrictions, but well, we believe that 3 hours is okay. So to get immersed, you have a look and kind of provide the feedback, and then you go back and your projects don't fall apart. So for metrics, so what are the top 5 L1 metrics? Okay, time to respond. Time to respond for the core team, so how quickly the OPSEC guys. Okay, line 1 says we need OPSEC guys, so they're invited, so how quickly they respond. The number of alerts and requests, the number of false positives.
Кого?
Самую крутую.
Какую? Да, процент обработки первой линии. Точно, все, спасибо, Сергей.
Yeah, and the kind of processing rate for line 1. We do it for a purpose.
Первая линия разгружала.
We want line 1 to kind of take care of the routine and basic processes so that they cover all the requests, all the little things which can be resolved through a playbook and which could be done well by the line one and interns.
Оцениваете, вот, ну, пересменка, да, дежурный меняется там после ночи.
Okay, you have a shift, right? So the shift is over.
Оцениваете ли
Do you in any way assess the performance of the shift?
скоринговая модель?
Like, do you have a scoring medal for the guys to be motivated, and then maybe you'll have some cup for the champions? Well, we have this kind of informal cup.
Надеюсь, мы не забываем его вручать.
I hope we still give it to people.
По поводу передачи дежурства,
And talking about the
после доклада к Сереге, он покажет
of shift exchange. By the way, we have a regulation,
портянка, там, что
and there they have a report, what happened, what has to be controlled, and so on. I'm there in the chat, and I see this handover of shifts every time. So the guys do it well. We can share with you this experience. Thank you. Thank you too.
Кирилл, спасибо за...
Kirill, thank you for your speech. It's really interesting, and I'm glad that I came here on Monday, on
Был ли у тебя
Saturday morning.
у тех, кто
I'd like to know whether you or any other guys who had this kind of internship, did you kind of have a wish to do it again? Yeah, I think we'll have. I'm kind of confident that we'll have round two.
Ну, теперь второй вопрос.
Okay, well, do you have a wish to do this? Well, I think this is secondary because the process is effective.
Одному разу сходить,
So we cannot just do it once and forget about it.
какой-то там в цикл
I think we will make it something like a cycle.
входит.
When all the bosses have been there, I'll go again too, because the processes have been changed, the playbooks have been rewritten. Yeah, sure, we will establish it as a process.
Вообще полезно, ну, интересно.
Okay.
Я не слышал это и в других отраслях.
Well, I think this is quite useful to have this internships. Well, I think we see it in retail. Yeah, in retail they do it quite often.
И вопрос вот по поводу других
I have
участников.
a question.
Было ли у них желание
Did the other participants want to go, or how did you pick the guys?
Я как-то
Okay,
властью своей сказал, что все
I
руководители
just told them that all the bosses should go,
как-то сами формируют расписание.
and they kind of make their own list
Захотел,
or schedule.
я сам
Some people volunteered. I did volunteer. It was my brainchild.
добровольно-принудительно, да, вот вспоминал это слово.
Yeah, so you
Короче, говорю,
have to go, and you have some kind of room for volunteering.
очень круто.
But when they come back, they say it's cool, and it was useful. But everybody will go.
Если вот сходили...
Я говорю, когда это будет процесс, поэтому
Okay, it will be
торопиться будет.
like process, no rush. We'll have a schedule. Everybody will go there again.
Можем себе позволить.
We cannot afford not converting it into a process based on the results obtained. Thank you. Thank you too.
Всем доброе утро, Кирилл, спасибо.
Good morning. Kirill, thank you. It's been interesting.
В субботу.
It's a good investment of your Saturday morning time. Okay, in terms of the plans for the future, you didn't have this reverse kind of approach when line one would become kings. Did you have any idea like that?
Почему?
Did you have any plans like that?
Типа день
No.
становления в школе. Да?
Okay, you'll remember like back at school we had these days when students become the school administrators. Yeah, I think we could think about it for kind of the day of humor, as we call it, the 1st of April.
Б,
Well,
в крупной компании это
information security for a big company, it's not like your school, right? And you should consider the risks of changes like that. Well, it doesn't mean I don't trust my team,
и не буду на подстраховке в таком случае.
and it doesn't mean that I will not kind of be there to catch them if they fall. Well, but maybe it's scary. Well, it's not necessarily scary. Well,
Я думал. Я не придумал.
I don't know why you would do it apart from having fun. Motivation,
Для молодых
because for the young,
выступать, извините,
you
что перешел на теннис.
might be
Ты можешь выступать для них неким ориентиром.
as like a guiding star. And if the young,
На какой-нибудь
well,
встрече серьезной,
take part in an important meeting and they understand the level of responsibility, if they hear how people communicate between each other, how they engage in a dialogue,
Не стоит слышать, как
Okay, sometimes they shouldn't hear how some other people of my level communicate with me. That's number one. They're better off not hearing this.
проблему
And secondly, we solve the problem of awareness on what the leaders and other departments do.
устроена.
So we have a streamlined process to do it. It's quite active. We have monthly and 6-monthly meetings, and we have bi-weekly meetings where the guys come together and share what they do, and everybody goes there to say, in a zone, I do this and that. And sometimes they have questions. Every 6 months, we talk about the results and plans of every department.
Погружать
So,
ребят
to immerse the guys in the context of activities of every department and every boss, well, this is something we can do.
возможность ходить на встречи, там,
Well, to go to meetings and understand the level of kind of responsibility, well, maybe sometimes it should be kept as a mystery and the artifact of belonging to some department or level of seniority.
спасибо.
Thank you.
Да, Кирилл, спасибо за доклад.
Thank you, Kirill.
Последний
Thank you for your speech. I think I have the last question.
работал на первой линии.
Okay, when you worked for Line 1, did you meet the SLA? No, I didn't. I tried to mention this. No, far from it.
Подстраховка.
I had a backup, and when I was dealing with one ticket, the backup guy covered 4 more tickets. No, I didn't perform the SLA.
Готовился.
Well, I hadn't been prepared properly. I was out of context,
Да, не всегда
out of tune.
правила.
I hadn't read all the rules. I should have.
Надеюсь, они мне это простили.
But I hope the guys will forgive me for that. Did your boss of the SOC criticize you? Yeah, I had a buddy.
Человек, который
So the one who coordinated this shift, yeah, they looked at me quite sternly. Yeah, what are you doing?
Кирилл, спасибо большое.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kirill.